Hello everyone, Sableye here and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about Scovillain in the first, iteration of this new series. I don't know if it's going to be a series, but we're definitely going to be doing a few other mons as well, kind of highlighting some of either the new mons in Scarlet and Violet or some other mons that are just seeing a little bit underused in the meta, and I think Scovillain fits that bill, and I think it's a perfect one to start with. So we're rocking Scovillain today. And the concept here for this series is going to be giving you guys options on how to build these Pokemon and how to use them for your teams. Now, I see a lot of team building guides, and not all of them, don't get me wrong, don't be like, oh, Ryan said this, but like, I see a lot of team building guides, and some of them, or most of them I should say, tend to be, this is how you want to use this, you have A, B, or C, you got to use one of these three options. I'm not going to say that today. I'm not going to say that about any Pokemon, because a lot of the times, especially very early in a meta, you're going to see things adapt, and probably half of these builds won't be good three weeks from now, right? But I'm just here to give you guys options to highlight some of Scovillain's strengths and then allow you guys to make your own adjustments off of these builds that I'm giving you, right? Maybe I'll say something that you like and you can utilize that, and you can take half of what I build, you know? Maybe merge a few of these builds together, but something like that, that's what we're looking at. I say we jump into it. If you guys do not know what Scovillain is or what Scovillain does, Scovillain is a grass fire type, the first of its kind, which is a really cool type combination. It's not something you really see. When I pictured a grass fire type, I pictured some sort of burning bush, but this is more so. I like the way they went with this. You know, I really do like the way it kind of turned out. I think it's a really cool mod. I think it's underused. I think it's underexplored. Of course, you are looking at a terrible defensive set, but you also have nice attack stats in 108 each. They're pretty respectable. And 75 is a neutral speed stat, but you can fix that with Chlorophyll, which I do think is your best ability. Of course, you have access to Insomnia and Moody. Insomnia is okay, but given the fact that the most common sleep moves right now are something like Spore and maybe the odd Sleep Powder, you already have the immunity with as a grass type, so I would say don't bother with it. You know, you want to stick with Chlorophyll. Moody is a bit unreliable in my opinion. You can run it. Don't let me stop you from running Moody. But I do think Chlorophyll is just the most consistent ability on this thing, and that's the way I would go with it. Some notable moves: Spicy Extract, which we'll get into when we talk about build 2. Will-O-Wisp and Rage Powder, just because I'm a defensive player and it's cool to see those moves be on a Pokemon. Build 1. Okay, so this is more so of your neutral ground option. You have a few different ideas here. You have a few things you could use. Flamethrower, just meant to torch fire types, right? You're coming out, you're going to just torch a fire type with a flamethrower. If you don't have anything that you can hit, you can actually Rage Powder here, which I don't know if is ideal. You could run Terra Blast, but we'll get into that in a bit. But Rage Powder here, you have, again, if you can't hit anything with Energy Ball or Flamethrower and you don't really want to make that chip and you want to support your partner, I like having Rage Powder on a mon like this. I think you don't need more than your 2 stabs in my opinion, especially when you have a Life Orb and you're doing enough damage with Flamethrower and Energy Ball. Rage Powder could potentially save your partner, get you out of a bind. I really do like that option. Basically, it's when you say, okay, Scovillain is dying here, we're going to run the Rage Powder button, get myself off the field, and save my partner at the same time. I think it's a really cool idea. Now, Flamethrower does good damage. That's basically all I'm saying. It's gonna torch your steel types. Energy Ball is just there. I didn't really run the Energy Ball calcs. It probably kills Garganical, which is a really cool tech. And if they don't Terra type, right? It puts on a lot of work, right? You put on a lot of pressure with just those 2 moves, and that's why I have the Rage Powder. Something else notable here is that max special attack Terra Steel Choice Specs Goldengo will not be able to take you down. So they'll go for the Make It Rain, you will be able to survive, and you will click Flamethrower and kill the Goldengo in return, which is one of the highlights, I think, of Scovillain. Just as a way to deal with Goldengo, because a lot of the times you're going to be capable of OHKOing, and you're going to be able to pick up knockouts more so than any other way. And I like the Life Orb set for that because it enables you to pick up knockouts. Maybe have something like Tailwind here, or have something along the lines of Sun. I don't recommend using this thing with Torkoal. I think Lilligant is the better Torkoal partner, but it is still an option. Just to put it out there, it's still an option. EV spread's nothing crazy. You're gonna live the Terra Ground EQ from Garchomp as long as it's spread. You can max special attack to abuse the Life Orb, and your speed's sitting at 120. You can play around with this if you want more bulk. 120, just because I really couldn't find another bulk calc to put. So I just dumped it into speed. It actually kind of works out because now you're probably outpacing most of the Rotoms. You're outpacing the T-Tars if they don't go max speed. You actually outpace some of the bulkier Goldango builds as well, which is really nice. So you can probably just kill them before they attack, which is fair, but nothing too crazy here. Once again, Chlorophyll, because I still think Moody is too unreliable in this metagame, especially for a Pokemon like Scovillain that kind of needs things to go its way. Build 2 is my personal recommendation for a build right now. It is a Spicy Extract Enabler. So, I said I was going to talk about Spicy Extract a little bit. We're going to talk about Spicy Extract just a little bit. So, the concept of Spicy Extract is whichever Pokemon you target, it's going to get +2 attack and -2 defense. Now, what this allows you to do is you can pair this up with your own Mirror Herb Pokemon, which I'm sure we've all seen on Twitter and around there. So basically I have a partner beside me, let's just say Salamence for now. It's going to hold a Mirror Herb. I'm going to click Spicy Extract into one of my opponent's Pokemon. They're going to get +2 attack and -2 defense. The Mirror Herb on my Salamence is going to go off and allow my Salamence to get the +2 attack by copying the positive stat change from the opponent. And that's going to basically give me a +2 attacker on beside my Scovillain and a -2 defense on a Pokemon that I so choose to kill that I target. So I could go Spicy Extract, bring in the -2, get myself the +2, and then take that Pokemon out with my partner, with the Scovillain partner, which is really, really cool. You also have the, I guess, natural chemistry here, natural synergy with Foul Play, because now you're boosting their attack and dropping their defenses, and you can click Foul Play. And I would be shocked if this doesn't kill anything that doesn't resist it. I will be shocked if this doesn't kill anything that doesn't resist. Okay, maybe something like Amoonguss lives because Amoonguss is broken and has a ridiculous bulk. But most of the metagame right now, if you click Spicy Extract into something followed up by a Foul Play, chances are they're getting knocked out unless they resist. And that's really, really cool, right? So I would pair this probably with a Mirror Herb user and a Foul Play user. That's how I would run this. And then you go for that, and if that doesn't work, you have late game Overheats, you have late game Energy Balls. And you also have early game Surprise Factor Terra Blast. I'm going Terra Blast just because if you look at this thing's move pool, it's not amazing. It's really not amazing right here. There's really no really good physical bulk. There's no crazy special attack that I'd want more on a Choice Scarf user. I mean, could I run Hyper Beam? Yeah. Do I want to run Hyper Beam? Is that good? No. But like, you could in theory do it. If you want to be cute, you could go Razor Leaf to hit both targets, which is cool. Like if you wanted to pick off sashes that way, that's cute. But I do think Terra Blast is cool because what it allows you to do is it allows you to either Terra Ice and drop Garchomp or Terra Fairy and drop Hydreigon. And obviously loses a little bit of value with open team sheets, but it forces respect. And I think when people say open team sheets takes away from stuff like this, in theory, yes, you're not going to catch them off guard anymore. But they have to respect this now. If I saw this on an open team sheet, maybe I worry too much. But I'd be at least a little bit concerned about what's going to happen. Do I leave my Garchomp in front of this? Like, can I risk the fact that they're not going to go for it? Right? It makes me consider, it makes me think twice. So even in open team sheets, I think it's fine, right? And of course, this is very team dependent. If you're weak to Hydreigon, I'd say go Terra Fairy and blow it back. If you're more weak to Garchomp and you have struggle with the Garchomp, I'd say go Terra Ice and blow that thing back, right? It's completely team dependent, and that's what I like about the Terra types. It allows you to fill those niches. But for this thing, you're looking at the 3644 is because you didn't need more speed, and it allows you to, I believe this still lives the Goldango attack that I was mentioning on the first build, which is always really nice. So you can kind of ignore it for a turn and then come back to it later because you will survive, right? Which I think is completely fair. Once again, Overheat just torches it. I have to go Overheat this time because I'm not Life Orb anymore, so Flamethrower doesn't actually get the kill. So you go Overheat. You could opt for Fire Blast. I believe it does pick up the KO, but you're more often than not going to be clicking Spicy Extract here and then saving it either for a nice little quick early game joke kill or a nice little late game toast of an Overheat or an Energy Ball. In my opinion, that's how this works. But I do think this is a Spicy Extract enabler, and that's what you're going to go with. Build 3. Assault Vest is my favorite item in the game. I'm going to be honest with you. That's just the way it is, and I'm going to try and put an Assault Vest on everything if I can. And I actually don't hate it on this Pokemon. I think builds 1 and 2 are better. But if you love Assault Vest like me and you want to try and make an Assault Vest Scovillain work, this could be the set for you. Once again, you're not going to see me run a physical Scovillain. The Fire Fang being its only physical fire coverage is just not good. Simply put, it's just not good. You risk missing for a 65 base power move. It's just not worth it. You don't have the damage for that to sustain that damage output here with Assault Vest. You could Energy Ball, Giga Drain. That's up in the air if you want the recovery or not. I like Energy Ball. When I was running some calcs, it did a little bit more. I didn't really run full on calcs, but it did a little bit more, and it was just always nice to get that extra little bit of chip damage to let something else get the kills, right? Scovillain is probably not picking up kills unless like it's super effective into something, but it's nice little bit of chip damage, right? And if you're clicking Giga Drain, the recovery you get back wasn't worth the amount of chip that you get from the extra damage on Energy Ball. Once again, Energy Ball, Flamethrower, and Terra Blast, I think those are staples, especially on AV. Like I said, your move pool is very thin. So I think you want to capitalize on those. Overheat is up in the air. Overheat is up in the air. You can arguably go Leaf Storm. I left Overheat because I can torch the physically bulky Amoonguss. And generally speaking, the Amoonguss have transitioned to be physically bulky because of Maushold. And because Mousehold's in the meta right now, and all the Amoongusses tend to be physically bulky, Overheat right now is calced to kill Amoonguss. So that's really nice, right? So I'm going to torch Amoonguss here, and then I still have a Scovillain on the field, and you can't complain about that. You also are immune to the Rage Powder since you're a Grass type, which is really, really cool. Okay, so you're Assault Vest, right? I still like the concept of Terra Blast into killing a Garchomp, or into Terra Blast of Fairy and killing a Hydreigon, but you are Assault Vest, and you have to remember Assault Vest is one of the most defensive items in the game. And since it aids in your defenses, you could argue that a super defensive Terra is really cool here. So something like, I don't know, let's just say a Steel type. Steel is probably the best defensive typing in the game. Or my personal favorite, Terra Water. Terra Water. Now, this is a 1-mon Fire Water Grass Core, and that just doesn't happen. You know, this is not a Pokemon that exists. You could arguably run this on the build 1 with a Life Orb set as well. Put Terra Blast over Rage Powder and have a Fire Water Grass Core in one Pokemon, which I think is really, really cool. But we're not going to harp on that, but that is a concept that you could run. I think the calcs would need to change a little bit for that, just because I don't know the calcs on the Terra Blast water move, depending on what you're going up against here, because you'd probably want it to do a lot of damage onto certain things, like Rotom Heat you'd probably want to drop. I don't know how relevant that is. Right, but there are things, if you're going to do that, I would modify here a little bit. But Assault Vest, really cool concept. I don't know how great it is in the current meta. Like I said, I think build 2, just go nice and straightforward with your Scovillain. Initiate a plan, right? And I feel like that's a lot tougher to do in metas that don't have the big restricted Pokemon, right? Because we're coming from the Sword and Shield meta that we just played over a year of having Kyogre, Xerneas, Zacian, right? And those are easy to implement the plan, you know? Play around, set up Kyogre, win. Play around, set up Xerneas, win. You know? Wear them down, have your late game cleanup, right? Those are easy to have a plan. And when you go back from that and you go to a meta like this where a lot of things are just able to survive other attacks and you can't really blow things back as fast, having Scovillain that has a defined plan to its game is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because Spicy Extract, that strategy is very, very strong if your opponent doesn't have anything for it. And if they have stuff for it, you still have the versatility of being a big scarf damage dealer, right? This is why I think build 2 is really optimal. And I'm sure everybody's like, Ryan, talk about build 4 already. I want to see what build 4 is. The answer is you don't want to see build 4. You do not want to see build 4. One last thing on the AV set, though, is you are 107 speed. That's going to outpace the Dragapult if you do get a Tailwind off, which is fair. Once again, that's team dependent. You can play around with that. You can probably lower it a little bit if you don't have Tailwind. But you do live the Life Orb Hydreigon Draco Meteor, which I think is really, really cool. And as I mentioned, you do torch the Amoongusses if they opt for the physically defensive variant. And I said you guys didn't want to see build 4, so without further ado, build 4. Build 4 is bad. Do not use build 4. Build 4 is here strictly because if I didn't put build 4 here, someone was going to come in my comment section and be like, you can't ignore Moody. It's an amazing ability. you really gotta lean into it a little bit. So this build, we're gonna Moody abuse. We're gonna abuse Moody because why not? I don't think you have the defenses to do this. I think this is a really bad idea, but it's here if you really just want to be that guy. If you want to be that person and do this, go for it. Giga Drain once again to keep you on the field a little bit longer. Flamethrower just was consistent fire damage. You unfortunately don't get heat waves, so Flamethrower is consistent fire damage. Leech Seed to keep you on the field a little bit longer. Protect to go hand in hand with the Leech Seed, and Leftovers to give you a little bit more health. Now, I wouldn't use this, as I've mentioned, but like I said, you can Terra Steel, you can Terra Water, and you're sitting on this field with a Moody boosting Steel type as one of the best defensive typings in the game. Now, I don't recommend this spread. I don't recommend this set. I didn't even come up with the spread. I didn't even calc anything. I just said max HP, split the defenses, and go with that. It's probably not good. You know, it's probably not good. But this is something. It's something if you want to have fun with Moody. I feel like I want to end these things with always like a more fun build. You know, just something to be dumb about, you know? Because like a lot of the times, like it's very easy to hyper focus in on improving, but sometimes it's good to just have fun too, right? Like I don't recommend this set. I don't think this set is good. But if you wanted to have fun and make some people mad on ladder, go for it. Have fun. This is the set for you. But like I said, I didn't calc anything. Will-O-Wisp is an option here. Rage Powder is an option here. Rage Powder beside Moody, especially if you get some defense boost, is kind of cool. You don't necessarily need Leech Seed. I don't think it's good. Like I said, build 2 is where it's at. That's the recap. But the recap is go build 2, in my opinion. Don't necessarily need Choice Scarf. You could run Spicy Extract. Don't get me wrong. You don't need to have Scarf to run Spicy Extract. I just think it's the ideal because then you can get your Spicy Extracts off beside your Foul Play users, beside your Mirror Herb users before they attack, right? And all of a sudden, if they lead very passively or very slow, and you're just faster with both, you're basically saying, go ahead and give me the knockout. I will take my knockout now. Thank you very much. And you shake their hand. Right? And that can capitalize on that. Now, granted, the only thing with Scovillain is everybody knows, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people know about the Spicy Extract tech, right? So if they're prepared for it and they prep for it, that's what this is for. That's what Energy Ball, Overheat, and Terra Blast are for. You can make it a better tech, right? So if you're weak to Garchomp, as I mentioned, you got the Ice type, which is, I don't know, maybe I'm just praising Scovillain more than it should be praised, but I really, really enjoyed coming up with this spread here. I think it was really fun to build, and I'm actually going to test it. I'm really looking forward to testing it. We're not going to test it in today's. I want these videos to be strictly team building. Now, if you guys want to see me pick one of these builds and then utilize it in a future video, I don't know if that's something you guys want to see, but if that is something you guys want to see, please let me know down below. With that, we are going to just about wrap this one up. Of course, if you guys did enjoy the video, feel free to like and subscribe. It does help out the channel, and I do appreciate it, so thank you. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in a future video.